Hello everybody, welcome back. We're here today to talk about the ranunculus and anemones that I'm going to be growing this spring. These are early spring blooming flowers. In fact, I have a lot of them started right now. I started some as early as February, and I have had some overwintering in the greenhouse since November. Now we are zone 6 and these things are not supposed to be able to overwinter here, but I planted 55 ranunculus corms into the greenhouse in November. It survived a normal winter as well as a polar vortex deep freeze. It was minus 27 Celsius outside, but it was very heavily covered inside, and I have greenery coming up right now. So I think it's safe to say they will be just fine. So those two varieties were given to me. My mom picked them up at her greenhouse last spring and brought them to me, and I ran out of time and space. So I did not plant them last year. They sat dormant for 18 months, and I sprouted them in November when I found them in the basement. But those two varieties were Rhinette Red and Rhinette Orange, and I haven't grown those before, so I'm really interested to see if the color on those really is the same as their pictures. So those are the two varieties I have in the greenhouse. I have 25 of one of them and 30 of the other. So about 55 corms already planted and starting to come up in the greenhouse. Now I did grow quite a few corms last year, and I left them in the ground to dry up when the temperature got too hot, and I dug them up and saved them. And those varieties are Amandine Salmon. I neglected to write down how many of those I had, probably about 30. I have 30 Amandine White, and I have 16 Amandine Marshmallow. And I can't remember for the life of me where I got these corms. They were from a flower farmer somewhere in Canada. I also had 32 of a dark pink. The marshmallow was more of a lighter pink, but I had a dark pink that I don't remember the name of the variety. There are 32 of those. And somewhere in those corms that I bought last year, I found a special one that I did not order. It had one side of the petals was red, looked red, and then the back side of the petals, when you flipped it over, looked gold. This was really interesting, and I only had one plant. So of course I saved that one, and last week when I potted them up, I was able to separate it into two good-sized plants. So I'm definitely going to be propagating that one this year. And this year I bought new ones from 3 different places, all Canadian sources because I am on the east coast of Canada. The first one is from Whistling Prairie Flower Farm out of, I think, Ontario, and I bought from them Ranunculus mustard. I bought 20 corms of mustard. There were 21 corms of cream, and I also bought 10 anemones in a pastel mix. I do have some saved anemones, somewhere around 25 to 30, but I did want a few more of those as well. The second place that I bought was from Two Birds One Stone Flower Farm, which is actually located about 45 minutes from me, and I drove to the farm to pick those up. And from there I bought 15 corms of Pauline, which is a dark burgundy purple, and another 10 of salmon, which I already have a bunch of those, but I wanted a few more. So I was able to get corms from those flower farms way back in the fall, in somewhere in October, November, and they have been soaking and are sprouting in the basement. There's shoots coming up right now. So we're going to go have a look at that shortly. But I'm also picking some up from Vessies in PEI, and I was on the fence about this because they don't ship them in the fall. They ship them earlier in the spring, and the first time I grew ranunculus, it was a massive fail because I ordered from them and they didn't ship them until April, and of course that's way too late to plant ranunculus. So they did nothing. They grew a little bit and then all died off, and when I contacted them about it, they refunded purchase price of all of them. But there are some really nice colors in their mixes, and the price is so much cheaper. So I'm looking at the website right now, and there is a package of 6 for $5. And when you get the specialty varieties that I've just named, they're in the $2 to $3 per corm area. So this is a lot cheaper than that. So I'm going to pick some up. I'm going to sprout them indoors and keep them as cool as possible, at least so they can grow a good amount of foliage and go through a normal life cycle. I probably won't even let them flower. I'll probably cut off any flower buds that I may get. So when you look them up, they don't come up under ranunculus, they come up under Persian buttercups, which is more of a common name for them. So I have two mixes. I have a pastel mix, and these come as 20 corms for $21.95. That's pretty good. And then I have, it just says Persian buttercup, and these are brighter colors, and they are packages of 6 for $5, so I have 3 of those. I'm also ordering a handful of seeds from them, and I have some anemones as well. I have a package of 9 Bordeaux anemones for $18 and a blue and white mix that come 5 for $5. That averages out to a pretty good price, and they have a good promotion on right now where if you spend $150, they give you $50 off. And I did that because I have a handful of other things in my order as well. I usually do order from them in the spring. But Vessies is more of a garden center. They sell perennials, they sell seeds, so they're not a specialty cut flower place. So if you're looking for things just to plant in your landscape and you're in Canada, because I don't think they ship outside of Canada, then it's a really good place to pick these up, because as of right now, I just checked, they are all still in stock. So with the anemones, they list their height as anywhere from 8 to 12 inches. I find if they're protected, you can get a little bit taller. If you're not worried about cutting these, 8 to 10 inches is just fine, and the ranunculus run in the 10 to 15 inch range. But both of them are really easy to store because they can be bone dry. You don't need to keep any amount of moisture in them. So you dig them up, you trim the roots, you trim the shoots off the top, you let them dry, and then you can just put them into a paper bag. They don't take up any room at all, and store them somewhere relatively cool and dry until planting time next spring. So if you're looking for something for some early spring color, ranunculus and anemones are fantastic. So next, let's head down to my grow area in the basement and we'll see what I have sprouting. Here are 3 of my trays. This one is Amandine White. There's 30. This one is Amandine Marshmallow, 16, and I don't see any life from these ones yet. I could dig down and see if there's roots. I'm sure there are, but I don't really want to disturb them. And then this one is dark pink, 32 dark pink. So 16 marshmallow, 30 dark pink, and 30 white. There are the anemones that have sprouted. I need to raise these lights. Some of them have sprouted a lot. Some of them have only just started. And these trays that look empty all have tiny little shoots just starting. So there are 8 anemones right there, and you can see how some of them have multiplied since last year. Look at all these shoots. There's got to be a dozen shoots on that one. So a couple of shelves lower, I need to raise this light too. These are growing so fast. This is an anemone that would not fit in a regular pot. So it is in a 6-inch terracotta. And there are my special red gold ranunculus, which no shoots out of there yet, but there is still hope. I forgot to talk about these. This pink and green one were little kits that I found at the grocery store. There are 3 corms in each. This one is pink and that one is white. I just kind of wanted to see what those would do. They were $10 for each box, so no life out of those, but it's early yet. These are the anemones that had not sprouted yet when I potted up the other ones, but there are a bunch of shoots coming up now. So I'll pot these up shortly. It's my weird little stacking solution here. Let's see. There is a ranunculus shoot. I neglected to label this one. Oh no, yes I did. Okay, these are the salmon and the Pauline from 2 Birds, 1 Stone. All starting to come up. Underneath here we have more shoots. So these are the cream, I put anemones in the middle apparently, and the mustard. So these are the ones from Whistling Prairie. There are the mustard. These are coming up. These are also ranunculus. So no anemones yet. Oh, I lied. There's one right there. So life out of the anemones, the mustard's coming up, the cream is coming up. Success from whistling prairies. This is just there to keep in the moisture. And now that they're sprouting, I'm actually probably going to take that off. And the last one, are there shoots? Oh, there are roots though. That little white, that is a root. So where we have roots, we will have shoots shortly. Oh, I found some. You might not even be able to see. Oh, yeah, you can. There are more roots. And this is the Amandine salmon that I saved from last year. There are 40 of those Amandine salmon. So with all that, we have about 55 ranunculus in the greenhouse, a little over 150 more down here. And I think 50 to 60 that I have on the way. 25 anemones down here, and I think another 20 on the way. Now we just have to make sure we care for these properly until we can get them outside and blooming. So thank you very much, everybody. That's all for today. I'll see you next time.